You could,
Oh,
you're still coming a little fuzzy,
is this better?
a little bit.
Is this better?
Eh,
Man,
I could make out what you're saying. It's just fuzzy.
fucking microphones. Still fuzzy.
Still.
Nah.
No, like I can make out what you're saying. It's just it's not clear.
That's good. It sounds really good.
If it sounds good in your headphones, I'm just. Are you recording on your screen and then you're gonna put it up?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see what happens. You never know. Listen, it could come out great. It could be awful. We don't know. We have to find out.
But we'll figure it out. So, welcome to the first episode of the Husky Boy Project. I'm super excited to have my guest, Nick Karalekas, the Husky Boy number one
Hey.
for HuskyBoy.co. The original supporter of what I've been trying to do slowly, organically, a few months, with a couple wrenches thrown into the gambit and the plan with COVID and the world that we currently live in. Nick, I need to just give a rundown of who you are, what you're about, what you do. You are in the fitness realm, and the context of your expertise in today's conversation.
Surely. So obviously, nice introduction. Thank you very much. My name's Nick Karalekas. I am the manager of MFIT Supps. It's a dietary supplement sports nutrition company based out in Hop Hog, Long Island, beautiful New York, the epicenter of coronavirus. I guess just to give a brief history, I got into this industry only 6-7 years ago. I graduated college. I played D2 baseball in college. I was a pitcher. Then I got lucky enough to get a gig at the Nature's Bounty Company, which is Body Fortress, Metrics, Solgar, literally every brand you could think of, from sports nutrition to health and wellness. So my background is health and wellness, but I really specialize and have the most fun, obviously, with sports nutrition. I mean, I think everybody does. And then I actually was regulatory and legal there. And that's my background in terms of knowledge and labels and the CFR, things of that matter. And I was lucky enough to head over to A&Z Pharmaceutical, which is the parent company of the company I work for now, MFIT. And with that, I actually came over there as a regulatory person. I didn't even come into marketing. And our CEO wanted to go into the realm of sports nutrition and health and wellness. And she took one hell of a chance on me. And so far so good. No complaints. We're on the bodybuilding.com. Things are going well. The brand's growing, and just fun facts. Definitely a sports enthusiast, but I'm a huge comic nerd. I love food. Cookies are my favorite. Pizza.
This is really good. Alec.
Yeah.
You guys are very similar.
Very similar. Yeah.
Brought over to marketing. He's great at marketing.
Yeah.
He's also a comic nerd and
Huge.
Crumble. There's a local cookie place.
The only difference between me and Alec is that he has 2 golden retrievers and I don't.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's about it. Other than that, you have pretty good beards too, and you keep very much in shape. Like this, Alec is the guy that won't do extracurricular activities. Like,
so he doesn't get hurt for training.
Yeah.
He's dedicated. He's dedicated to the craft, my friend.
Dedicated. So I have a little segment that I typically call Husky tendencies. I'm a firm believer that everyone has at least a little bit of an fat kid in them, right? And so I'm curious.
Yeah.
Like some of your Husky tendencies, like what? I mean, cookies, of course, you kind of just gave it away. But tell us like what Husky tendencies, like foods that you just like, no matter what diet I'm on, whatever goal I have, like this shit's got to work into it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even call it like what foods have to be in there, because it's. So when I growing up, I was a very thick child. I was. They called me the thickness back in the day. Yeah, the thickness. So as I was growing up, I was just, me and my mom would go shopping at the Gap and Old Navy, and ironically, obviously, the Husky section. You know, and my mom would always like, no, we got to go to the Husky section for me. And I was like, what is that? She's like, don't worry about it. You know, and as I was growing up, you know, obviously you figure things out. You look in the mirror every now and then. You're a little bigger than everybody else. So, you know, and just background, you know, growing up, I was always trying to lose weight. You know, I was always trying to cut. I've never, and the next month is going to be the first time in my life that I will be in a surplus.
Yeah. Wow.
In my life. And I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's been in the industry for 40 plus years. And he's like, dude, since you've been dieting for literally years, I'm talking a decade even, just trying to finally get to where I am now, he's going to say, you're going to blow up because your body's never been repairing and recovering and trying to, he goes, it's going to be night and day. But nonetheless, since I've been doing that for so long, there aren't any really, for me, specific foods that, you know, I'm like, okay, like I think I'm part of the very minute population that it's like, all right, I have, you know, 1,900 calories today. That's all I have. I refuse to kind of veer off, but that's just me. That I was raised in a very competitive environment from day one. You know, I have my entire family's, you know, first responders and athletes. So it's very, we'll call it military-like discipline.
Yeah.
In and out of the kitchen. So, you know, but there's really no foods, but one tendency I really do have is, you know, so like I'll have I wake up at 4, train, eat, get to work. I have 2 meals at work because just the amount of calories that I'm having. And I get home and usually I just save it. I just save egg whites and then I just whatever. But what happens is that my dad's a big snacker and we have a big snack closet back there. So like, if you're ever to the point where you're really dieting and you're really lean, but the better you look, the shittier you feel. So it's, you're trying to offset it. And like, I have 2 really, really bad weaknesses. One, which actually isn't that unhealthy, which is salted mixed nuts.
Oh yeah.
Dangerous.
So you can
Dude, I've housed the whole tub in a matter of 25 minutes. Like it's nothing for me.
You guy?
I'm sorry?
Are you a cashew guy?
Listen, it's 2020. I'm about all the nuts. Give me all the nuts. You know, I just want all the nuts. But besides that, there's these little snacks that I used to have as a kid when I used to live in Astoria with my family. They're like it's like pretzels, the little crunchy things, but it's like a sweet honey mustard type snack.
Oh yeah.
Dude, they showed up in my cabinet 2 weeks ago. The bag's gone because I come home and I'm just like, all right,
Let me get
snacking. Yeah, but it's like late night, like as I'm going to bed. It's not, you know, I used to be really good in college where I would just be like, you know, my coaches used to be like, you know, just chug 2 scoops away and then you'll be fine. Nobody fucking wants a whey concentrate shake. I want a goddamn chocolate chip walnut cookie before I'm going to bed, you know? But in terms of tendencies, definitely, if I had to pick one, it would be like caving before bed for sure.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That's one of the things that, you know, even of Husky folks, right? Like most of it comes from not even like thinking about snacking, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like a no-brainer. And I'm so curious whether your parents have this like cabinet, right, full of stuff.
Cabinets.
Like I love my mother to death, but she loves that I'm thicker. Like I just know. She never says it. She goes, "You're Husky. You've never been fat. You've carried it in your belly."
Yeah.
But she's the biggest when it comes to.
See, that's like with my mother and my father. So my dad, you know, has been trying to lose weight for all, and he did. He lost a couple pounds a couple months ago. But my mother, you know, she, you know, makes my dad whatever he wants for dinner, and usually it's lamb chops, which is he kills those. Man crushes lamb chops. You know, lamb chops big on Chinese food because it's just accessible.
Yeah.
And, you know, it comes down to, you know, not to sound like the hardo here, but in terms of trying to not veer away from, like, I'll call it the Husky way, but at some point, like I have a really good buddy of mine, smartest kid that I know, has the best genetics in terms of body frame. He's 6'4", 285. Like his shoulders are as long as the Grand Canyon. I wish I had those genetics. And every time we train, like he's strong, but he's not where he should be in terms of his weight.
Yeah.
And that's from consistency, dieting. So like he'll cut for about 4 or 5 weeks, and he's a big macro. I'm a big macro guy too, but I'm big on it's what macros you eat, not just okay. I'll have Pop-Tarts and my carbs for the day, which is how I started. Like everyone else, you're literally trying to figure out how to fit a Kit Kat in your diet, and I'll have whatever. It's no big deal. I'll have whey protein shakes all day, and it's fine. But yeah, the enabler piece is also, it's something that you can't really control, but the person that's being enabled has control over that.
For sure. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I lived with my mother. I moved back home when I was like super into dieting. So, because I posted a photo on Husky Boy of like the slimmest I've ever been because I did my first powerlifting meet, right? And so I cut like 20 pounds of basically just water. Pretty.
Basically just water.
Yeah, I gained 20 pounds back within a 24-hour period from weigh-in.
What?
I gained 20 pounds back.
How?
I just ate like the entirety of the day. I chugged like gallons of.
You gained 20 pounds in a day?
20 pounds. I weighed in. I lifted the next day at 215.
That's awesome. And to me, that's awesome.
No, I couldn't hold on to the bar because the amount of sodium I had. Because I took advice from a guy that I think he knows what he's doing, but it was like my first rodeo. And so like, as soon as you're done with weigh in, go get the highest sodium like chicken noodle soup and just chug it. And so I was like chugging cans of chicken noodle soup, the entire like tacos. I was just housing food, Gatorade, electrolytes back up. Man, I had a pretty good food, but my hands were just so fat.
Oh no!
So like the last lift to the bar, it was that it felt like I was gonna shit my pants, and so
that's a good feeling to have at a powerlifting.
I'm done.
I always make sure before I deadlift. All right, I gotta be able to shit my pants. Let's lock in. Let's lock in pants shitting mood.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Let's hit the ball, ground running. Let's shit our pants today, boys. That's the way I walk into the gym. I'm aiming to shit my pants.
So I want to talk about kind of a couple other things, right? So I'm really fascinated about childhood huskiness and the effects of it, and like what you carry with you through life and how that affects you, right? Like it's not just this piece for the most reasons that people are kind of fucked up mentally and have terrible self-esteem. There's a lot of things that people carry throughout life and don't necessarily go back, address, show some love for the situation that you were in, accept it, and be able to move on, right? Is there a moment in time where your weight? I mean, clearly you said you dieted over for decades, right? For at least a decade. So something from being a husky must have triggered that type of emotion to be able to make it so constant on your mind that you have to lose weight. Is there anything that specifically sticks out to you?
So growing up, my dream was obviously to play professional baseball. Yeah. And there was this really, really competitive travel team called the Bayside Yankees. And I got recruited to a tryout. Thankfully, I was good enough to try out, if that means anything. And I didn't even make the first cut. I was an all-county baseball player, so I felt I was pretty good. But they still didn't take me, and the coach was like, I didn't have. Usually, I have the stones to go up to the coach after and be like, "What do I need to work on?" I've been cut from football, wrestling, basketball. I've always been able to go up to the coach and be like, "Hey, what do I need to improve on?" He straight up said, he goes, "You're way too heavy. You're way too slow on your feet. He's like, you need to start." He's like, "You're a good hitter, but how many swings a day do you take?" And I said, "About 150. He goes, "How about 500?" And then he said, "Well, you also need to improve your arm strength, so long toss 4 or 5 times a week." So I'm like, well, fuck. So, I don't know what it was about that team or what it was, but that is what, and thankfully I have amazing parents who said, "What do you want? We're going to support you regardless." So that's when I was, what was I? I was 15,
Yeah.
and my dad goes, "We're going to get you into a strength and conditioning program 3 times a week. You're going to do Olympic powerlifting." And from then on, I've been like absurdly obsessed
Yeah.
and sick to the head in training and going to the gym and like having that battle every single day. Because that's what I thrive on. That's literally, if I didn't have that, I would probably be in therapy in terms of speaking to somebody. But it's I just when I talk about the gym, I kind of get into like a loss of words because I wake up and I'm like, all right, when do I get to train?
Yeah.
But being cut for like a specific reason for being out of shape and being made fun of, a very large portion of my childhood, especially with bullying. I know you wanted to cover this, but I was always called chubby, fat, whatever. Thankfully I was born with an attractive mug, so that was always my saving grace. But little things like that, when you're that young and you get called fat, you get called chubby, to us now, it doesn't seem like much. I'm like, all right, I've been called hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
But at that age, at 12 to 15, 16, especially when, your hormones are going all over the place, you're trying to impress the girls. So, when someone just calls you like fat or chubby, or for me, for instance, like I'm a hairy dude, like I'm a fur ball. So like, even getting made fun of that affected me a lot.
I remember, I'll tell you a little a hair story. In third grade, I'm the first person to have armpit hair, right?
Yeah.
No one swims next to me in the pool because my armpits are disgusting.
Oh my God. Did you know, this is a funny story too. I was in gym class, forgot my gym clothes. I had a tank top under my t-shirt. And then my gym teacher was like, if I didn't bring clothes, I was notorious early in my high school career to not bring clothes because I was so consumed with impressing everybody. I didn't want to get sweaty. So I just didn't bring, I was like, I don't, this is beneath me. Such a loser. And then my teacher was like, Nick, do you have a tank top on under that? And he goes, yes. He goes, take your shirt off and you'll pass. I said, fine. I took it off, and that was the first time I discovered I had back hair. Because everyone was literally making fun of me for 45 minutes because it's gross. Like I literally take care of it every week because it's just disgusting. I can't stand it. But that in and of itself, like not just chubbiness, but the view in which that you perceive yourself is molded in such a way at that age that it affects your actions going forward. It's not a mistake that I'm in the fitness industry at all. None. And then following that, going in the gym and seeing these monsters. Like I grew up in a gym, it was retro fitness, but it wasn't your normal retro fitness. You had I'm talking gargantuan people, and that made me move to Bevs. Once I started training at Bevs, hooked.
Yeah.
Hooked. So the norm for me was to see like a Juan Morale, was to see like an Arash, was to like see a guy, and I'm like, what the fuck? These guys are beasts. But that became the norm. So now when I'm training, and this all affects mindset, not to ramble, but like it's so true. Like when you see these guys, like I'm very close with Guy. So like when we train together and I just see Guy and I just see him train, I'm like, he's a freak. One. And it's like that's the norm. So like now when I'm in shape now, like everyone's you're in best shape of your life. I'm like, nope, still gotta do better. Not even close. Nope. Not even close. But I genuinely mean that. That's the sick, twisted part. But those things, like you said, the bullying, the impressions that you are made upon you at that young age truly mold you, not even from a fat loss standpoint, but from a career path, what you like to do, who you associate with.
For sure.
There's a reason why I'm friends with bodybuilders. There's a reason why I'm friends with, guys in this industry. It's you want to not that you don't want to be part of like the fat crowd.
Yeah.
But it moves you.
Sure. And I mean, some of the most dedicated, disciplined, and humble individuals are in this industry. Now there's the other spectrum too, of course, within this industry.
Complete douche canoes.
Yeah, but you know the good ones when you meet them, right? It's funny. I'm actually I'm extremely impressed that you had the dedication to continue with the sport that you had that at. I had the opposite effect. I
Really?
had a, I was on a traveling. I really wanted to be on a traveling soccer team,
Mhm.
so like a U9 traveling soccer team. I was good enough for a tryout. I made it. I got on the team, but I was the by far the biggest kid. And I used to have because I was so big, like everyone called me like the boot, right? Like, and I wouldn't kick the ball right. I'd kick it with my fucking toe, but I'd just go. And at 9, like that, sure, that's kind of impressive. But we're at a tournament, and I remember there was and we lost a game, and one of the dads came up to me, and he was like an assistant coach, and he was a kid on the team. I went to high school with him. His dad came up to me and goes, "You know, Decker, you'd be a lot better off just being a water boy because you can't run up and down this damn field." And I'm like, "Fuck!" And that like, I went home, I cried.
Oh
Uh,
my
it,
God.
it still fucking bugs me to have like a grown ass man say that to a 9-year-old kid.
I would have kicked him in the dick.
Well, yeah, I
Are you
mean,
fucking kidding me?
looking back now, but I quit. I didn't play
Oh
soccer.
my God.
I never played soccer again. Like straight up. Like
Do you know where that guy is now?
no, no idea.
I would find him immediately.
I'm sure he's hating his fucking life because he probably hated his life then to be able to say that to a 9-year-old. Like
Exactly.
looking back, like there would never be a point in my life,
Overcompensating.
yeah, where I would ever feel the need to say that to a kid on a 9-year-old traveling soccer team.
That's
But
awful.
it cut deep, and I still haven't fully gotten over it. And I hated his kid, like not like to his face, but in my head, the entire. Cause I'm like, you're a spawn of that guy's sperm, and I fucking hate you just as much as I hate that guy.
And that's fine too. Like
Yeah,
that's completely normal.
yeah. And so like that was my experience, and so like I never played that sport again. And then I was like, fine,
Holy
I
shit.
got to find something that I feel like I can belong in. And then I started being a thrower. Started throwing shot put disc. I'm like, fuck, I could be as fat as I want, and no one's gonna bat an eye because I'm around all these other chubby kids.
Yeah.
And I found my belonging in the throws community in 7th grade, and or actually I started in 6th grade, and then I did it in seventh
That's
grade.
impressive to start that sport that early.
But that's I mean, just I guess that's the difference, right? Like I wish I had the mental fortitude and the strength because I really did. I loved soccer,
Mhm.
um, and
Do you still watch it?
it was my no, not anymore. I completely cut it out.
Oh my God.
It was my shit. MLS, like I followed it. Like that was what I really enjoyed, and because I'd played it since I was like 3. Like I was in leagues, and so it just cut me off. But nonetheless, like these are the things that even just these one instances
Yeah.
can affect the entirety of your path in life. And I held on to that probably for I don't know. I went to therapy like a couple of years ago just because my entire world like crashed around me. Um, but that was one of the things that I had to address in therapy
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of
Listen, full disclosure, I've talked to people too in the past because I've had my own issues along the way. But yeah, like you were saying, you have to address the things in the beginning so you could. It's kind of taking 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward.
you got it. Yeah.
You have to. You have to.
And it wasn't even like the fat part, right? It was the insecurity that I just laid on myself and brought through because of that moment, right? And there's tons of these moments through life, and you have to be able to go back and address them and move forward. Let's talk about all the fad diets that we've done because of this.
Jesus, fuck.
I know it's a crazy world. Like even now, probably more so than when we were younger.
Oh, not even close.
Different messaging, like of what's right. Like,
Oh,
but give me a thumbs up or thumbs down because every Husky boy I've ever talked to took hydroxycut.
yes, that's a fact.
Everyone. That was what I all like.
Hydroxycut, and when what was it called? When USP had the what was it? Was it Hydroxy Elite Pro or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with the DMAA, yeah. I took that like candy. It's like, weight loss. Like, no.
So I guess, with fads, right? Like,
Oh yeah, you're gonna open a book here.
yeah, you say don't fall for fads, and there's a lot out there right now,
Yeah.
right? What one, what's the list of all the diets that you've tried,
Oh,
and what are your overall learnings from this?
yeah. So the cool part about this is that being in the industry I'm in, um, I get to listen and pick the brain of some of the most influential people in this business, and it has literally been a dream come true to even if it's 5 minutes at a booth, just to like talk to Lane Norton. I spoke to him about like 10 minutes. Dude, he broke it down, sent me a book, and like the man.
Fat loss forever, if
Yeah,
no
yeah,
is fucking gold mine.
exactly. But the thing is, little tidbits like that, little gold nuggets, people don't even realize. But I mean, I've done keto, I have done keto wrong, as in no carbs and no fat and a lot of protein. I have done paleo. I have done bro dieting, FYM. I have done just eat whatever I want until I hit like, a certain number. And I've done portion eating, which is the threes with a 30 plate veggies, a 30 plate protein, a 30 plate carbs, like 4 or 5 times a day. I've done I've been coached by, I want to say, maybe five. I've had 5, 6 diet coaches, only 2 of whom which have really worked. Three of whom were only half of them. One, what do you know who Louis Marco is? Obviously, like, so he like covered bodybuilding and stuff. Louis was my coach last year and completely crash dieted me.
Wow.
I'm 189 right now. And he got me down to 191 from like 225. And literally what happened with Louis was what Lane talks about in his book, which we'll get on later. So he gave me, and not a knock to him, like he's doing it, I wouldn't call it the right way, but he's like, he'll give you 6 meals and he'll put a certain amount of carbs, proteins, and fats in there. And then as your week progress goes on, if you're not making progress, he just strips stuff out, which is not the fucking way to do things, because how do you calculate things forward? You just can't. And then, like I was losing too much weight. You're gonna add 40 grams of carbs.
Yeah, but you could fucking fast for 24 hours and still gain weight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's so many, but there's also so many variables, which again, that's way down the line. But man, the coaches that have worked for me currently right now, I've had the same coach now for a year and a half. He's up in Canada. Shout out to Cam, but also Cam's diet worked, and Michael Hearn trained me for a little bit for about a year and a half. And that's when I was at my strongest. I was eating like a motherfucker, and I was incline reverse benching like 315 for no fucking reason. Yeah, dude, like the guy gets a lot of shit because people don't think he's on other things, but he knows his stuff. He's been in this industry for 40 years. The man knows his shit, regardless of if I'm natty or I'm not. Like the guy, he looks like that at 50 for a fucking reason. 51.
Find me another 50-plus-year-old that's got
a
lot like that. Like the dude's got good health.
Yeah, the guy knows what he's doing. Regardless of what you think of him from a morality standpoint.
Well, his hair's not falling out, right? Like if he wasn't converting to heat and ball.
He has amazing hair. But that's what I'm saying though. Like he knows his stuff regardless of what you think of him from a morale standpoint, like regardless of what you think. Yeah. But my coach now and Mike are really the only 2 guys that like really genuinely worked in terms of my diet, but actually like mapped it out, but in terms of fad diets, I mean, I think you would agree. It's one common denominator.
Always
being a goddamn deficit. And I say it that way because how many times have I done intermittent fasting? Like it's whether you're on keto, you're intermittent fasting, paleo, whatever, carnivore. I've done that too. At the end of the day, you're in a deficit, regardless of your macronutrient. It's just whatever's convenient. And is it sustainable? Which is what Ben Kane loves to say.
That's the biggest one I know. For me, like and body types are different too. Like you're gonna feel my macros might be different than yours as long as I'm in a deficit because for me, like I'm I know for a fact that I can survive on a low carb diet and feel fucking awesome. So like my macros right now, I don't have more than 150 grams of carbs a day.
Oh, lucky you. That's high for me.
That's high for you?
Dude, my macros right now because I'm in the last 2 weeks of my cut right now, so I'm at 215 protein, 80 carbs, and 45 fat.
Okay. Okay. So are you typically like a higher protein, higher
I've always been a high protein guy, always
so,
high.
and your fat typically outweighs your carbs for the most part?
Um,
Typical bodybuilding diet is pretty equal with like protein, carbs, and then low fat, right? That's the
I'm right now I'm low fat, low carb, high protein. It sucks.
You're on the tail end of a cut. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but then we'll obviously and then slowly reverse back.
And so, what are your calories now? Are increased? Like, have you addressed your metabolic rate through kind of reversed dieting to increase the calories that you are consuming and able to?
I mean, right now I haven't even. I've been actually had the same macros for about 3 months now, where it's just slowly. Because I've been dieting. What happened was, again, going back to the Louis thing. After, and to touch on what Lane talked about in his book, I was at 189 the day after the Arnold was my birthday last year, and I was with everybody. And they threw me this big, nice birthday dinner. I ate everything in sight. At the time, I was having like 50 grams of rice. It was ridiculous. And from then, I just went home and I just started eating normal again.
Yeah.
Literally, like when I say normal, I mean normal. And I gained 45 pounds, like in a matter of 2 months, maybe. Dude, I wasn't huge. Like I'll show you guys pictures, but like it was.
Was it the picture that you posted right before you started this next one where I said
oh yeah, thick. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was like I didn't look overweight.
No.
It was just, dude, the worst part about it is the body overshooting where you gain your weight and then some. What happens is that triggers so many other things. My testosterone levels naturally went. My digestion is awful till this day. I have to take I think like 100 billion CFUs a day, and I take 15 grams of glutamine. I take everything turmeric, ginger every day, every morning. This is now for 6-7 months. I finally got into a routine where I'm like, this is clockwork now. But I had to fix so many things, especially my digestion. Like I know for a fact I can't have more than 4 iced coffees a week, or else the acidity will build up on my stomach, and then I'll gain 5 pounds of water within a day. I know that ground beef and salmon, although naturally digest slower, fuck you. Although naturally digest slower, I can't have that at night, or else I will weigh in heavy. I have to have either egg whites or chicken past 5 p.m., or else I'm heavy the next day, because I weigh myself every day.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's figuring those things out and kind of saying, okay, what works, what doesn't, and that goes along with training too. And this is what I tell people whether you're talking to a mic, whether you're talking to a low bliner or whomever you want to look to, Guy, for instance, with training. Guy's style of training is very intense. Some of those things I can't, like, I've trained with Guy multiple times. I don't do everything he does, and I encourage this. And the same thing with dieting. This is a parallel here, is that I encourage everyone to try keto, try paleo, try whatever, try FYM. Take it with a grain of salt. Take what works, release what doesn't, and then what you're left with is yours and what works for you. Because what works for me, training style, may not work for you. It definitely doesn't work for Guy. And, in terms of just kind of being willing enough to hear somebody out in terms of their theories and what works for them and how long they've been doing this. What was it? Who went on a rant the other day? I forgot who it was, but he's like, I've been in this industry for 30 years and you're going to tell me that this doesn't work? Like, when you say it out loud, it sounds stupid, because most of these people on social media, these guys that are putting out like training programs who haven't done shit. Like it's like, oh no, that's wrong. You look awful, dude. Like what? How are you telling me that's wrong? You look like shit. Like
That's why I'm owning the huskiness, right? Like I can at least I look what I'm talking about.
well, no, but you understand what I'm saying. But like even if it's like, like for instance, I when I was last year when I was cutting, like I put out I put a program out, but I was offering just help in terms of like, hey, if you guys want, just coming from a former Husky person, like just how to lose weight, because it's most of the programming was just how to not veer off. Like it has nothing to do with diet and training, especially with this what we're talking about now, like overweight and mental fortitude, things like that. It was just tips to say, hey, like it really just comes down to how much do you really want it. Like I have friends who are more than capable, have more access to more machines and coaches, and who make more money than I do, but it remains to be seen. No one's outworked me yet.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's how bad do you really want that change, And if it's affect you that much, then you do. Or if you just don't care. And it's okay to this is the one thing I want to stress in this conversation. It's okay to not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like it's completely fine. It's just those people who, the one thing that I will is, if you don't want to care, that's fine. Power to you. Eat all the cookies. Fuck you. I'm jealous of you. But if you decide to complain that you look like dog shit and you're eating fucking cake every day, which is, again, not a problem, just don't bitch and moan that you look like shit in your fucking bathing suit in the summer. That's fine. That's it. That's my only pet peeve. Don't complain if you're not willing to change anything. That's it.
So I think there's like paradigms, right, between, or at least parallel paradigms, dieting and training for individuals. So like what we said is diet, I don't want to call it that, eat, right, for consistency, right, and what you enjoy that's giving you the results you want.
Yes.
It's true for training. Like for me, you're not going to see me start training for like a marathon. I love lifting heavy.
Yes, same.
I will never do a program that doesn't lift heavy. And when I get big, it's because my diet falls off. I eat whatever the hell I want. I'm still lifting heavy because that's like probably the most consistent thing I do is just work out.
Yeah.
When you eat like shit and you lift heavy, you can get pretty fucking big.
That's what happened to me my freshman year in college. I signed as a catcher, third baseman, ended up tearing my elbow and shoulder in like 8 different places, but that's not the problem. I started working at the gym, and again, this is how I kind of really got into the whole thing. And I discovered supplements my freshman year from, ironically, bodybuilding.com. And I ordered the signature series stack, the fat burner, the whey protein, the shaker bottle, the pre-workout, and the aminos. And I had the subscription that would come to my every month and a half or 2 months. And I would just fucking take, I didn't even read the back panel. I was taking fat burners at like 9 p.m. at night playing Halo till 5. Like
we were I think we were ahead of our time back then.
Dude, Jack 3D, I know, like, how like, not cycle pre-workouts, but like they were like 1 tub a month. I went maybe 5-6 straight months with DMAA in my system. Like,
why not?
I was clearly addicted to drugs. Like that was definitely, I'm a recovering drug addict. It has to, like, that's what this is. But it's crazy when you think about it. Like, for instance, like I bought Ghost Gamer. I wanted to check it out. But like things like, for instance, like I'll buy the product. I'm like, oh shit, this is pretty fucking stacked. Like I know it blows my mind that I didn't even look at the back panel. I just took what the guy said at the store and said, this is dope. Take it.
It's so
at
funny.
like 17.
It's so funny. I don't know if you know this about me, but I launched a online retail supplement company. I don't know, was it 2014, called Protocol Nutrition. And it was, stick to protocol, like that's stick to the plan and the results, right? And I found when I was setting up this stupid microphone that probably is fuzzy, last night on my laptop, I found a video I recorded in 2014 of my first supplement review, and it was Rift Juice by Betancourt. nutrition, and I was looking at the back label and reading it to for my YouTube, right? And totally don't know what the fuck I was talking about. Like, oh, it's got tyrosine in it. Oh, it's building block protein. Like, that's great and all, but there's more benefits than that. Darren is like, oh, I'd like to see, green tea extract. I knew nothing of what the fuck I was talking about looking at it.
Nothing.
But I was taking it and it made me feel good and it made me.
But doesn't it like when you think about it now, doesn't it scare you a little? Like I didn't even know what was in this, and I'm just taking it like twice a day.
In fact, I had no idea I was taking like a Fedra, like from
none, zero idea.
I just knew I was getting heart palpitations if I ran hard on the treadmill and I took it.
Dude, till this day, I'm like, if someone asks me what's the most dangerous thing you've ever done, taking Jack 3D original formula 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Morning workout, midday pick me up, at night.
Yeah. So here's our lesson, folks. Do some research. There's a lot of good people out there in this industry.
A lot of good people, not the majority that sucks ass.
Yeah, like I do trust Ben in his reviews a lot. He cares deeply about.
Quick little shout out to Ben Kane.
Yeah.
That guy, I gotta say, just in terms of just genuine human being like marker, that guy is and just.
I'm a fan. I love talking shit with him.
Such a great dude.
To him specifically, but yeah. So Ben is like a co-creator in of Price Plow. So if you guys want to see good reviews of transparent brands that are doing cool things,
that know their shit inside and out.
Another person that I just shout out that I've learned a lot from just in the last, I would say, year is Justin Hall at Supplement Snoop.
Oh, dude, he's a great dude too, though.
I'm just, these are great, like free outlets of information for you to educate yourself on what is out there.
And also,
ad D2C unless you've done some research.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and also there's I believe Paul Callahan from Bullfrog Nutrition.
Yeah.
Just put out a supplement course for people to kind of wrap their heads around the industry, and it has Lowbliner, has who else is in there? Jay's in there. Yeah, dude, literally everybody within the industry. Gethin's in there also. So they did a fantastic job with that. So shout out to Paul Callahan.
Brands that are really good, transparent, quality, and you can feel good about taking these products. So, yeah, I mean, it was the Wild West. I think I wish I knew.
It was,
knew then what I know now, of course.
Yeah. But that's all part of not going through the motions, but you gotta be naive to learn.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, like, we are in the sports nutrition industry, right? It's supplementation is part of like our passion because we're at that point, right? In the progress. If you want to lose fat, do not turn to a fat burner. Go to the first things that we talked about: nutrition and training. Start there. Get it.
That's another pet peeve of mine is whether it would be at the gym or somebody on Instagram on the MFIT channel be like, so like I'm trying to lose weight, what should I take? And I said salad. Like just eat less. Like it's fucking, like, if you think about it, and then they're called supplements for a reason. Listen, I love my job, but I will never tell you. Like, you could look at any video I've made about Torch, our fat burner. The formula is awesome. It will enhance your fat loss incredibly if you use it the right way, if you train fucking hard and your diet is on point. Not 80%, 100% consistency, day in, day out. It's like, and people will say, oh, well, if I have like this piece of cake, it won't kill me. No, it won't. You're 1,000% correct. That's why I can get away with eating my cookie dealer cookies every now and then. I can get away with it. But the way I kind of see it, it's like, for instance, like taking BCAAs every day, intra-workout.
Mm-hmm.
If you take it once a week or 3-4 times a week while you're training intra-workout, you're not going to adhere to the 5 grams a day that build up. And so you see those benefits 6 months from now, and again, just like cardio, you could do, instead of doing HIIT, 3 times a week, you could walk a mile a day. But if you only do it for 2 weeks out of the year, but if you do a mile a day for 6 straight fucking months,
big difference.
Not even close.
And it's I've always used them as a tool, right? Because I enjoy the different flavors, right?
Oh, same.
So I wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. to go work out, and I'm ready for the sweetness that is my pre-workout in the morning, and then I'm also addicted to the.
What pre-workout are you using right now?
Honestly, I'm trying out Morphogen Nutrition's stuff. So because I'm on a cut, I take their Morpholine, which has about 200 milligrams of caffeine in it, and then I take Morpho Pump, which is their pump product, and then this morning I also stacked with that
Nice.
Ghosts Strawberry Bubblicious because that's 200 milligrams of caffeine. So
how much caffeine do you take in a day? About half a gram?
Typically about a gram.
All right, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, but I used to be much higher than that.
Same.
But I was an energy drink guy, and so I used to pound that like it was water, and then I completely fucked my adrenals.
Same. I've had to cool it significantly on the caffeine.
Yeah, and so I've definitely dialed it back a lot, but it helps. And then I take another 200 milligrams of that Morpholine midday. So what I've been training is I lift in the mornings just so I can get it done, and then in the afternoons when my daughter naps, that's when I go do my cardio. And so I'm trying to do two workouts a day to make sure. And usually I just neglect the cardio completely. But when I'm on this cut, I'm doing a challenge against 4 other guys right now. It's just like
yeah.
30-day challenge just to give us something to work towards, because accountability is a big piece too, especially for myself. Like I need a goal. If I don't, then I just kind of fall off. And so
I did a challenge, I want to say 3-4 years ago, and me and my buddies, they were like, we're gonna do a 30-day challenge, and whoever looks the best or whatever, like it was like they'll buy your dinner, and then it turned into, okay, everyone put $50 in the pot. And they didn't realize what beast they awakened in terms of, oh, prizes on the line. Oh, it's not even going to be close. I'm going to work out 2 times a day, eat 8 meals a day. You're going to get smoked. Yeah. And I didn't realize that there might be other competitive people in that group. Turns out that there is someone just as close as competitive to me. Completely, like, it wasn't even close. Like, completely shit on me. Like, he was pulling like 600 pounds at 18.
Oh,
just a genetic freak. But consistency is key. I'm the winner now.
Yeah, now years later,
literally maybe 10 years later. Maybe.
I'm so curious. What were you at your peak, like your heaviest that you've ever been, like weight wise?
238.
So 238. And then how tall are you?
I am 5'11".
Okay, so we're about the same height. But I think I'm a little bit of a broader build.
Yeah, probably.
I carry a lot of. I've always joked like I have mother or childbearing hips rather. That's always been my.
I find like Husky people, like not completely overweight, but most of my friends are athletes as well. But most of their weight is carried around the waist. It's not like arm, shoulders are fucking ready to go. Legs are jacked. It's the waist.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big proponent of hashtag Nips Up Nation.
Nips Up Nation.
Jack from the nips up. That's why, like, when I go to pools, I go up on the edge, like when I'm in Vegas. So I hide the belly, but look super jacked.
Let them know.
No, it's funny. In college, I got up to 285, and I would eat everything in sight, but I lifted heavy. I was a hammer thrower, but just to put it in context, in 7th grade when I wrestled in the 215 class. In 7th grade, I weigh 225 right now, so it's like, shit, you were soft, right? I was soft. My belly was there. I know I like to post childhood photos of me with just like this pop belly, but let's kind of talk a little bit about, even as a kid, like role models, right?
Yeah.
Even my role models were big.
Hmm.
Curious if you also had big role models, and let's talk.
Not even like big in terms of size. When I was growing, obviously my life was baseball as a kid.
Yeah,
Um, so as when I was younger, my favorite players obviously you love your home run hitters. I was a huge Mark McGwire fan.
yeah,
Loved Big Mac. I loved Roger Clemens. I loved Barry Bonds. I loved Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. was the only guy that was like kind of, let's call him a twig with just unbelievable power. Like for that, what made no sense. But I definitely molded my game after Mike Piazza and Mark McGwire.
yeah,
Uh, love those two. I'm a Yankee fan now, always have been, but those guys, something about their game because you kind of relate to them because Mark McGwire the guy was an animal.
yeah. Well,
So those guys is who I really molded my game after, or tried to,
yeah,
or tried to, but those were my role models. But as I got older, I got into WWE.
yeah,
Um, I'm still a pretty big wrestling fan. Um, but guys like whatchamacallit. Obviously, everyone loves The Rock, but I loved Hogan. I loved Stone Cold. Um, I, I started watching when John Cena started coming up,
yeah,
and I was like, dude, like I hated his gimmick. Hated his gimmick. I think his gimmick is very douchey,
yeah.
but the man is an absolute Terminator. Like till this day, absolute piece. But I definitely looked up to the wrestlers, and then as I saw that, that's when I really got into bodybuilding type training. And then I started getting into, holy fuck, who is this guy, Ronnie Coleman?
Yeah.
What?
Who is Ronnie Coleman? Yeah,
Who the fuck? You can't tell me he's human. You can't tell me Flex Lewis is human. You can't tell me that Phil Heath is human. These guys are animals. And the mindset that you have to go through to get to that point, I don't even want to attempt to understand.
yeah,
Um, but for some reason, everyone not for nothing, not to bring in the steroid talk, but no one it's just like, oh, he's on gear. I could do that. No, you couldn't.
no,
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 you couldn't. No one can.
no. It's a rare breed.
But you have to be twisted in the head to be a pro bodybuilder.
You,
Twisted,
you have
sick, like sick, twisted, gone.
I love
You
that.
do. You do. Like, listen, guy's one of my closest friends, and I tell him to his face, like, we did an interview once, and I was like, because he was asking me, like, all right, what motivates you? And I'm just like, listen, I just want to make my family proud, and I want to be able to leave my family, a nice little cushion when I'm, all said and done. That's what pushes me. I also like competing against myself every day. I want to become the best version of myself.
Yep.
But what pushes him in the gym? He's like, I'm thinking like I'm under a truck, and if I don't get 10 reps, my mom's dead. I'm like,
What?
dude, this is going on our YouTube. Like what? And he's like, you want an honest answer? There you go. But yeah, man. As I've gotten older, I don't want this to sound the wrong way or come off like cocky, but I don't really like I have aspirational aesthetic figures in terms of physique, but I don't, besides like my father and my grandfather, I don't look up to anybody. I simply just want to outwork myself because I have a firm belief that no one's gonna outwork me. That's just not a genetic thing, but it's something that's been hammered in my head from such a young age.
Well, you're what, 28?
Yeah.
There's probably not too many 28-year-olds that are getting up at 4 o'clock every morning.
So you gotta, and my friends hate me for it though, only because they're like, oh well, I gotta do this. Like I have no time to prep. I'm like, so just get up super early and prep your food. Well,
Yeah.
then I'll only sleep 5 hours. I'm like, so then you only sleep 5 hours. Like what? It's super easy. Like just get up. Like what's wrong?
Go to bed earlier.
Like that's it. Not even that. Even if you are a guy that like sleeps, like goes to bed at 12 o'clock, and and because it's a work and training and whatever, but you have no time to cook, get up. I'm very, very big on like there's really nothing you can't do. Not me. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has shit going on. Everybody has shit going on, and if you can't seem to figure it out,
yeah,
then you can't say that you want it to happen. You can't.
Well, just so you know, you're gonna have to keep that 4 a.m. schedule, as you progress and get older, because when you have a kid, your time is gone.
Fucked. I know I am.
Yeah.
I know I'm done. Goodbye, natural bodybuilding career. Goodbye.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, Nick was on here saying if you're not starting a side hustle during COVID-19,
you
lazy.
Fuck you! You don't have a kid.
Yourself. You don't have kids. Like, get out of here.
I know. I was speaking to a specific demographic.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh.
No, so it's my role model just to share. And I'm wearing a Bears hat because I am a Bears fan. I crossed sides to Packersville when I was younger because I loved Reggie White, the Minister of Defense.
Really?
Big, thick lineman in the middle. It was loud. It was positive. I loved it. And so I bought a cheesehead. I had a Reggie White jersey. Like I was a Packers fan for.
You're from Chicago, right?
I'm from Illinois.
Okay. Yeah, same thing. Chicago.
Not really. But yeah, so everyone from Illinois was like, yeah, I'm from Chicago, even though they might live like 2.5, 3 hours away. But I lived in Chicago forever. But yeah, that was my dude, because he was the thickness, right? And he was badass. And then I moved back after he retired to become a Bears fan. But that was my dude. I followed him, and I rooted for him, and that was during the Brett Favre days too. So.
Dude, that's so funny because when I was first introduced to football, I was a Giants fan, right? And just so happens the first year that I was a Giants fan, which I'm not anymore and haven't been since then, was the year the Giants were in the Super Bowl against the Ravens.
Okay.
So I remember I was in front of my TV, I had a Kerry Collins jersey on, I had no fucking idea who he was. And I don't think anyone else will remember who Kerry Collins was. With all due respect, he had one really good year with the Titans after that, but nonetheless, after that year, my uncle was they're Jets fan. They've had Jets season tickets for 30 plus years now. So after that Super Bowl, when my uncle saw that I was wearing a Giants jersey, he had Jets tickets, Jets hats, Jets gear. Every month I would get this package full of Jets shit. And my dad was like, wait, is he really doing this right now? My uncle brainwashed me.
Amazing.
He signed me up for the Junior Jets Club as a kid, and I am unfortunately the biggest Jet fan that you will. I have a signed Jamal Adams thing here, and now he wants to be traded, but that's not the topic, which is ridiculous. But my favorite player growing up was Brett Favre.
Oh, wow.
Not even close. When Brett got traded to the Jets, that was my sophomore year in college. I have never been so happy in my life. When Brett was and the thing is that team would have been good, but Brett got hurt. But it's funny you're a Bears fan. My dad's cousin is Ted Phillips.
My wife just crawled underneath the back of this to grab her.
Oh, that's normal. Yeah.
Yeah, totally normal. That's hilarious. So I definitely want to touch a little bit more on kind of Husky Boy, and you actually sent it to me, and you wanted to talk about where and how you want to help Husky Boy Nation as a go forward. And so I'm super curious what that meant to you.
No, I mean, when you first started this, and not for anything, when we were onboarding onto MFIT, we're still getting to know each other, things like that. And I always, when I saw that, when you were launching the Husky Boy, I was like, dude, this is like, I just found it so relatable. Because I've never, like, you see all these types of movements, especially now, not knocking anything, but you see all these things and it's like, all right, you can't really relate. You can't. Yeah. Whether it be your weight, your race, where you're from, what food you like, anything. You struggle not to not relate, but my Instagram feed is full of bodybuilders, places to eat, and, high school friends. That's really it. And then I saw your page and I was like, he's fucking got something. Yeah. That's something really cool. And and at least from my standpoint and what I want to do and what I'm going to do, is not even along the sides of MFIT, but what I'm going to do, and I was going to tell you later. So what I've been doing for the past, I would say about 3 weeks now, is I've been coming up with kind of a guide. We'll call it the Husky guide.
Husky guide.
For like tips and tools of the trade, tidbits from pros that I've worked with, tidbits of information, links to videos that really helped me. Not even like fitness related, not even training related, just mindset, motivation, and then obviously there are some tidbits of like health and wellness and stuff in there. What helped me, and like little notes, like for instance, like what helped me won't help you, in terms of you have, like, I can't stress this enough. It's not going to take a week. It's not going to take a month. It may take 2 years. It may take 10. For me, it's literally taken a decade for me to get to where I am.
Yeah.
Because it's been this constant flux. And everybody learns at a different pace. So if I can take a decade worth of bullshit and nonstop and just be like, this is what I've learned. This is what I'm continuing to learn. Here you go. So I want to like make something that's easily, whether it's a website or it's a PDF that you email out, I want to be able to give that to you guys and just be like, here you go. Here's your tidbits. Here's your notes. And we'll obviously try and do some collabing with MFIT too to kind of nice ribbon on top too.
That would be absolutely awesome. And that of course is part of what I want to be able to do, is bring more people in that relate to this topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, how cool would it have been if you found this as
like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Yeah.
I wasn't online like at all back then. Like we had our AIM.
That's
right?
That's also, not to cut you off, but this is also a thing that not annoys me, but it's like I don't, and like my parents would always tell me when I was younger, like, you don't realize how lucky you are. Obviously now everything comes around, but you know, when it comes to this industry and like, let's call it the Husky Nation, you don't realize how much these kids have access to. And it's a blessing and a curse. But if you're really trying to learn, there's no other better time to be alive.
Yes.
Ever. You have guys from Guy to Lobeliner to Paul to Chris to Sean Roden to Buendia to, I could keep going, that give really good advice. Yeah. But again, the concept is you have to take what they're saying with a grain of salt, try it. That's the thing too. People don't want to try shit. They just want to take it and your program sucked, it didn't work. Well, it probably didn't work for you. But there's a reason why these guys have testimonials, because it worked for somebody else.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, that's something that, you know, we continue to see a lot, is like, oh, this guy did this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do the same thing. Like you see a lot of like fitness trainers now have like their app. I'm going to share with you what I do to work out today.
Well, first of all, bullshit. That's not what you do.
Exactly. Like, yeah. But they're like, just to show people like what you do on a daily basis, and thinking that someone else could just follow that same path, it's not going to retain the same results as the person.
No, and that's the thing though. It's like there's a couple people on YouTube that, one's not with us anymore, but that I know for a fact that what he was saying in his videos is literally what he did, and that was Rich Beyond. Yeah. Rich was the only guy in a group of guys who, like, I'm not saying, let's say, I keep bringing up Mike O'Hearn, but let's just say if Mike, you know, does his reverse bench or whatever, you know, does he really do that? I don't know. But you just saw the authenticity in Rich's content, that I was like, this dude's really eating a tub of Ben & Jerry's every fucking night. Like, he didn't give a fuck. He didn't give a fuck. I mean, that was unfortunately his demise, but unfortunately, you know, God rest his soul. But you know, there's a lot of people out there that are putting out good content, and I think this industry gets a bad rap because of, obviously, you know, certain extrinsic forces, you know, that a lot of people in this industry use. But it's too good of an industry and too helpful of an industry just to let that stuff kind of, you know, let it overshadow the good.
So can I tell you like what my dream is for like what this looks like long term? So besides like creating like content and information, and just guiding individuals. I truly want to create like this group of just like men that were Husky, learned it, and like are the pinnacle of this group. Like if I can get Evan Centopani on here, right? Because have you seen his chubby kid photos as a kid? Oh, he was super fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, super fat.
Wow.
But like a gangster, like super fat gangster. So go check out his.
I got it. I got it
now. Because he's one that I love to talk about, like how that molded him to the absolute iron giant that he's been for years. Because it looked like he was big up until about high school, and then he started like getting tall, leaning out, and learning how to lift.
Mm-hmm.
But I've probably only been on this path. It sounds like you started well before me, right? Like I didn't get into fitness and understanding diet until I met my wife, which was probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was eating healthy by eating Tyson pre-grilled chicken, frozen chicken, and heating it up in the microwave, or canned corn. No one in my household ever made fresh food. I learned to cook a piece of salmon and vegetables on the stove 7 years ago. Like that's how far behind I was on at least the nutrition piece, right? Yeah. And just those things, I'm like, oh shit, this is easy. It tastes really good, and I'm really full, right? And I feel better, and I'm seeing results. And that's another piece too. Is like I want to be able to teach people how to cook for themselves as well.
That's the thing too, is that like I have a lot of like I help friends out with their diet and nutrition every now and then, but the biggest thing that they say is like it's a time thing. I find that horseshit, but so I don't even acknowledge it. But the ability to cook, it takes time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of trial and error. And what happens is when you fuck up once, you're like, listen, I used to suck at cooking. I'm by far the second best cook in my household. Like it's not even close. But that's because I've been literally cooking for myself for a decade.
Yeah.
Literally a decade. And I don't go out. I mean, every now and then, trust me, I will go out and have a nice fat steak. But 99.9% of the time, I'm cooking my steak, my sweet potatoes, my rice, my shakes. But you get what I'm saying. Like I don't rely on anybody. You have to really try. But then you start getting creative. You find out what spices really mesh well together, what vegetables go really well together, and it's a lot of trial and error. But again, like you'll see all the pros on all their videos. They'll tell you like one, consistency is key, but guys, it's a lot of trial and error. It's not gonna. It's like and listen, we're in the era of instant gratification, so everybody wants, oh, I want to look shredded in like 30 days, like, and then I see like shredded in 7-day workouts. What are you? It pisses me off because it's like it's clickbait. 1, 2, you're not being realistic, and it's like I never understood the instant fucking gratification shit.
Right, like it's if you lose a shit ton of weight in 7 days, you're gonna gain it all back plus some
within a day, not even like within hours.
Yeah, like and that's like what they're seeing from like the I hate to love the show Biggest Loser, but like most of them are extremely unsuccessful at long-term weight loss, right? Like, and that's really sad. I mean, can you imagine the stress that would put on someone's body to go through all of that and then gain it all back plus some? Like it's not the right way to do it.
And the thing is that those habits are formed for so long. That's why, like, listen, like, of course, do I give my father shit when he eats not as healthy as he should be? Of course. But I'm also not going to hammer him as much as I want to, is because I know those habits are formed, and they're not disgustingly unhealthy, because they're really not. I'm just a dick sometimes, and I want to see people do better. That's just my thing, my shtick.
You don't want them to have heart disease.
Exactly, like that's the thing, like, and that's the part that there's a specific person that I used to train with at a gym that I didn't really get along with, but the one thing we agreed upon and that we shared was that I literally wanted my clients' success more than they did. And that's why I stopped training people. I stopped because I'm like, I'm the one, why am I following up with you on a Friday to check in with me in your weight?
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't want this more than you. Like, you're paying me.
Yeah.
That's why I completely stopped. Like, if people ask me to help them out, of course, am I like a guy, Sister Nino or whomever? No, not even close. But I know what it takes to make that transformation in a healthy, sustainable way.
Well, let's tap into that just a little bit more.
Sure.
So you train people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would you? And this is something that I'm finding when I'm talking to some trainers. Even now that I'm like working on our digital app Body Fit a lot more, is
I love that app, by the way.
it's
I've been doing FST 7 for 3 months now.
better. I think it's gonna get really good.
Really?
It's gonna get really good.
Dude, I use that app every day.
You know why it's gonna get good?
Why?
Because I'm helping. I'm kidding. But no, it's a good app. I use it every day. And just from a tracking perspective, I think there's a lot of stuff that we need to dial in if we truly want to be a total fitness app, which is being able to track macros at least.
Not to cut you off, but what has helped me tremendously with that app and what took me from here to like, I don't want to say took me from here to here, but like in terms of my workouts in such a deficit.
Yeah.
Because when you're in such a deficit that I'm in right now, my workouts blow. Thankfully, my strength, I've been genetically gifted strength. I've always been strong as fuck. But when I'm dieting, my strength doesn't leave. But what happens is obviously you have less carbohydrates in you, so you're not going to get the best pumps in the world. You're calorically depleted. But what has helped me is the timing on the rest periods that notify you, okay, shut the fuck up, go. It's literally changed, like, especially now in a bulk. I might the one thing, it's a double-edged sword. Like, I'm strong as fuck, but like when I get really big, my pump holds for, I could literally have a 20-minute conversation between sets and still look fucking huge. Yeah. But that's because I hold water like a motherfucker. That's just who I am.
Husky boy, we hold water different.
Yeah, no, dude. Bulky. I'm honestly, I was talking to my mom the other day, and she was like, I was telling her, like, I got 2 weeks left of this cut. She's like, I'm just worried what's gonna happen like afterwards, and I'm like, thankfully I have an awesome coach. So I check in with him every day. I'm just like, dude, I'll show you screenshots of my spreadsheet. You're gonna be like, you're literally insane. Like it, dude. It's like week 50, like macros. I weigh in every day. It calculates the macros and the average weight that week next to it. The cardio, like, dude. It's honestly though, for me, for someone that I'm losing, but it shows I'm losing a pound a week. And that's what we were saying: slow, stable, slow and steady wins the race. But it's a consistency key that you need to have.
You could do it if you can do it for long term, right? Like,
yeah,
you can get those results. Like if I were just dedicated straight up for half of a year, I probably would be able to see my abs.
You would undoubtedly be able to. Yeah. Undoubtedly, you'd be able to see your abs in 3 months.
Yeah, and I've never probably been consistent for that long, ever.
You know what also pisses me off too? Not knocking anybody, but everyone's like, "Oh, schedule a photo shoot in 3 months." No. Oh no, it'll keep you dedicated. No, that's an awful idea.
People say that?
Yeah, in the bodybuilding community, they say that like till when you're weight, just it'll schedule a photo shoot. It'll No, I'm not spending $800 to not look like in a photo shoot. Like, fuck you. Like, I don't know why people do this. Like, I've thought about it. Don't get me wrong, but like when you say it out loud, I'm scheduling a photo shoot to lose weight.
No.
Post on Instagram and get like 8 likes.
So it's the 4th, right? Tomorrow. Are you still sticking to it?
It depends. If I have family over, it just really depends, man. It depends on the weather. If it's raining out, I think I'm probably doing nothing. Actually, let me check the weather. But if family comes over, it depends, man. Shit, it's gonna be really nice out tomorrow.
Maybe a beer or two. I don't know.
No, see, the thing is, like, the only things I drink now are, like, White Claws.
Yeah,
It's the only thing I drink.
I would say that to Justin Hall. I
Doesn't like them?
oh he gives me some shit for drinking Whiteys.
Dude, I love White Claws.
But I
10
think
calories?
what's the new one from Barstool? The Nooners. I gotta
Yeah,
try. Gotta try me some Nooners.
yeah, dude. No, they're dangerous. They really are. No, but like if I drink, that's the only thing I'll drink. If I'll have a cigar every now and then with my buddies. But in terms of like if we have a party, like if I have family over and there's chips around, like I'll pop one or two because they're there. I'm not gonna sit there with dip and But what I make sure I do though is I have little cousins, so I make sure to whoop their asses a couple times in basketball and like get another workout in. But I'm being serious. Um,
Basketball. No, it's awesome. So we're running a little long, but I wanted to be able to one give you an opportunity to just like if you saw this is how I like to pose it. If you were listening to this podcast and you were a kid, what would be the message that you would want to say to that individual?
to myself or just the individual?
To
To
yourself.
myself. Um, keep working your ass off. Everything that you're going through right now um, blows. It sucks. It's hard. Um, but just keep going and never, ever, ever. No, obviously never give up, but not to be dramatic, but um, everything happens for a reason. I love that saying, and let your work ethic speak for itself because it will pay off. It's just a matter of time, and eventually, like I tell this to my little cousins, like I like to tell them that like in our genes we're just really hardworking Greek Cuban people. That's just who we are. We're just hard workers. Whether you're a garbage man, you run a supplement company, or you run a restaurant, at the end of the day, your hard work will pay off, and hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But what happens when the really talented guy works his ass off?
Yeah.
So find out what you're good at and just outwork everybody, and you will be the last guy standing. I am a firm believer in that. But yeah, man, just don't be so sensitive all the time, man. Like that's another thing. Just to like just breathe.
That's the one thing when in regards to bullying, right? Like
Yeah,
if we had the mentality that we had now,
yeah.
with like the self confidence, the fortitude that we have now, back then we probably could have been able to handle those situations a lot better, but we didn't know, right?
But there's a caveat to that though, is that without everything that myself and you have been through, I sure as hell would not be where I am. I'd be successful because I have awesome parents and they push me to be better. But without the shit, there's no light. What's the 50 Cent lyric? I wouldn't care for sunshine if it wasn't for the rain or something like that. Whatever the fuck it is, but it's true though. It's true. It always rains before the rainbow. Always.
So
Everything. And before things get really good, you have to go through shit.
yeah,
Have to go through shit. And as not to cut you off here, I had an English teacher. He said this one quote to me. I got what was it? My end of my freshman year in baseball, I got called up to the varsity team. Didn't get a hit the rest of the season. I swear to God, I was batting 450. They called me up. Then I literally my coach was adamant that I get looks because he goes, "You're gonna play next year, so just get the looks." For the next 8 weeks, he batted me second. I did not get one hit. I did not get one hit. The next year, I batted 750.
Jesus.
I batted 750, but he told me he pulled me aside. He goes, "If you're going through hell, keep going."
Yeah,
Winston Churchill,
yeah,
fucking intelligent as fuck.
yeah.
And it's little tidbits like that from people you don't expect, whether it's teachers, bodybuilders, families, friends.
I can't stress this enough. Like just the good coaches that have like
It
said
means so much.
one fucking thing that just like good coaches, right? Not like the asshole from soccer,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you my two that changed my trajectory. One was my high school throws coach because I was if you know me a little bit, you know I'm kind of a fucking goofball, like
Mhm.
too,
Of course.
too. But I used to be like class clown, like just do anything for the laughs. this guy comes up to me and goes, Decker, if you just fucking cared a little bit, you could be really damn good at throwing. And I'm like, maybe I should care a little bit. And then I won conference and in both events. And then I went off to college, got a scholarship, was successful there. And in college, I learned a secondary lesson from that coach who by far is probably the most inspirational individual of all time. He coached track and field at Augustana for over 40 years. Just a blessing of a human. But he had one saying the entirety of the time, and it resonates with almost everything that we're saying here, is the journey is the goal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Like, just know that you're on the journey and continue it to your satisfaction. And that is the goal. If you're on a fitness journey, be on one, know you're there, and continue it. Just don't fall off your journey. Like
that's the thing too, and that's what people lose is that you have I hate when I don't hate it, but like when people say, well, embrace the ride, really soak it in, and it's true, and they're not wrong. Yeah. But what happens is that you get so caught up in the moment at times, and when you get into those deep dark holes, you really get lost, and you get I'm a very avid believer in kind of you control your emotions. Although, the outside forces may inhibit, negative feelings and negative thoughts. I'm very big on portraying a positive attitude, hoping positive will come back.
No.
And, especially like when in this instant gratification era with all these snowflakes, it's true though. It's like, it's whether it be, it literally relates to everything. Dating, dieting, training, your career, everything, your physique. Everybody wants, like, why won't this person just like me? I just texted them 2 times. Why can't I get shredded in 3 weeks? Why can't, I just, eat consistently? Why can't I just run my own company? Why aren't I rich yet? It's this constant thought process of I need to do this. This needs to happen now. And that is the negative aspect of this generation coming up right now. But at the same time, the ones who have the right guidance have the parents who are like, here's a learning tool. You have all the resources literally in the world. And we're going to see such a difference in terms of this generation coming up after me is that you're going to have some people who are the most successful people ever to live because they have so much information now, but you're also going to see the fucking shittiest and most disgusting attitudes you've ever seen and the most self-entitlement.
Yeah,
that you've seen in years because you have that mentality of
you had a really good rant.
Like you deserve that, but you haven't worked for shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is it is it the huge fat loser? Aaron.
Love him.
He had a really good rant about softness the other day. That I was just like,
dude, Aaron is such a great guy. I love that guy.
Yeah, he seems.
He's one of the MFIT ambassadors.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
Ex-Husky boy.
Dude, you should get him on. I can get him on here for you if you want.
No, yeah, I reached out to him the other day about so he's been going on about the gyms being closed, right?
Dude, don't get me started. Let's not, because we're gonna make this a 3-hour episode. This is ridiculous.
That's what I wanted to do. I reached out to our head of body fit and Jazz, our CEO, and was just like, hey, we need to help out these gyms. Like, yeah. How do we give them revenue and give their members training like through body fit? Like, how do I? And so, like, because if they can't open, they need to make revenue somehow. So,
yeah,
I want to use my digital platform to do like a rev share and help these guys out. That's essentially what I wanted to do. And so I reached out to Aaron because he's been pretty vocal, and I thought maybe he'd know. And you sent me some contacts too, so go from there. But yeah, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. As Nick alluded to, looks like we might be having some training and some tidbits coming up in collaboration with him and potentially MFIT. So we'll make sure to let everyone know that these tools will be available, and we'll let you know what's next for that. And we'll just keep on the grind. Journey is the goal. Stay healthy, stay fit, stay husky if you want, and
keep fighting the good fight, my friend.
Thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you, bro.
Enjoy the holiday.
You too.